All right, what is going on, man? This is another edition of SWAC Smoke, and we coming live on the YouTube air. Week 7 in the books. It's about to be week 8, man. The season is moving extremely fast. I kind of wanted to slow down because I feel like I'm missing a lot, but we heading into week 8, and it's about to be the time for teams to start to separate themselves. Big game this weekend, couple of big games last weekend. So we'll talk about all the action from week 7 first. But before we do that, DJ, how you doing today?
I'm doing awesome, man. Doing awesome.
That's good. That's good, man. I'm hanging in there. I'm just relaxing today. So
Yeah.
hopefully I'm saving all my energy for the weekend, and I hope I don't be too spent come Sunday. So we'll see what happens. But let's go ahead and talk about week 7 and share our thoughts on what happened in week 7.
All right. Starting off with we got PV and Bethune Cookman. That game was too close for comfort for me. Both teams actually played well. Bethune Cookman just seemed like they right there. I say it every week. I don't know what it is they lacking, but they was right there. PV, that just makes me a little nervous about them that they couldn't really dominate them like that. I think, like I said, both teams played well, but it was still too close for comfort when we talking about PV coming out of the West, in my opinion.
Yeah, the one thing about Bethune Cookman is I'll say that they're not a really they're not a good team. So let's just put it that way. But they are a team that always has a way of making the game closer than what it should be. I don't really think, other than I think UCF, they've been blown out. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't remember them really being blown out, especially in the SWAC games. But they hang around. You know, I thought Prairie View was going to pull away in this game, and they never did. Bethune Cookman just kind of stayed in it, and that, like you say, that kind of makes you a little bit concerned about what Prairie View is doing. One thing I thought was not a good thing for them, they gave up over 200 yards on the ground against Bethune Cookman. So, with that, with the next game coming up against a running team, that's a little cause for concern. But I think Prairie View is still, they're still moving along, and we'll see if they can if they can continue this run that they own.
Yeah, one thing about BC, they've been running it well majority of the season. They have a really good, really couple of running backs. Only thing that really shut that run down to me was Alabama State. But um,
Yeah, that and also one thing they have, man, one I would probably say they have the best tight end in the league. Kamari Alvarez,
yeah,
that dude is a monster, man. He I don't know if maybe he's a big wide receiver and not a tight end, but he's a guy.
yeah,
I mean, they line him up at tight end, but he may be more of a receiver,
right.
and he can play, man. That guy is right now. I would probably say he's the top tight end in the league, even though most people don't really use one. So there's only like 3 or 4 in the league anyway, but he's top.
All right, we can move on to a what most would call a thriller. FAMU and Alabama A&M. Um, we picked FAMU to win. I didn't pick them to win in this fashion. Uh, Again, Bama's they just don't have it this year. I think they're in trouble in with their interior linemen and their defense. I think they're in big trouble. FAMU kind of showing who they really are. You know, they fought through that adversity. They was down early and fought back.
Yeah. A&M. Oh, Alabama A&M. I got to say that in
Yeah,
this game.
right.
The Bulldogs. I think they done now. I think their season is pretty much over. Um, they can still hold on to the fact that they won the spring championship, but they are finding different ways to lose games now. They should have won this game. They had I think it was a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter, and they, Florida and them made a couple of big plays to get themselves back in it, and they stayed putting pressure on Glass. They didn't stack him many times, but they kept the pressure on him, and he made some bad throws later in the game. And Coach Maynard and his offensive staff didn't really call the best fourth quarter, but they have some work ahead of them because I think their season is they're out of the SWAC race, but I think their season is really going down the drain. That lead was 18 points in the fourth quarter instead of 16, so that's even worse. So I don't know what to say, but Florida A&M is playing good defense. They're top 2 defense in the conference right now. Good running game. Rashawn McKay is basically being a game manager. I think you're getting what you're going to get out of him right now, but the Rattlers continue to play well.
Oh yeah, and he came up big when it counted, so I got to give him his respect for that. He came in big then, and honestly, before we move on from that, what would I give to see FAMU and JSU play again mid-season?
Oh,
I
man.
would give a lot to see that again.
I think we should. You know how they in college basketball they used to do the bracket busters at the end of the season, where they like keep a week open. They should really play this game again, man. And
Yeah.
I think it would be a really, really good game. I mean, the first game was exciting, but it was neither team knew what they were. I think this game you would get a better outcome, and you might even get a better crowd.
Right.
Play it in Jackson, play it at Bragg. Packed house at either one of them places, and you looking at an atmosphere that I would probably miss a Southern game to go see, because them two teams hooking up this year with the way they playing, man, that would be crazy. I think a lot of people feel like you do. They kind of did it. They kind of did a little dirty making it first week, but hopefully in the future they can schedule this at a better time.
Right. All right, we move right on to Bama State and JSU. That game was close early. Bama State, they defense played good early. It's just JSU just too strong. I mean, I knew this was probably gonna happen. Bama State actually kept it closer than what I gave them credit for.
Yeah, I thought the score would probably end up like this. I think I thought something like maybe 31-10 or something like that. But I thought the first half, Alabama State did everything that a team needs to do to compete against Jackson State. They challenged their secondary. They threw at everybody. They didn't complete a lot of passes, but they threw at everybody. They didn't run the ball that well, which is a concern to me this year. They can't run it. But the defense is stout, and they held on as long as they could. I thought they missed a great opportunity late in the second half, right before halftime, to try to get some points to go into the half, maybe up 10-7. I mean, you're probably still going to lose, but at least you go in with some momentum and, you make Jackson make some adjustments coming out. I thought the game plan changed offensively in the second half, and Jackson was able to take advantage of that and do what they do, which is smother you. Alabama State continues to be that up and down type of team. So we just don't never know what we're going to get from them week in and week out.
Well, I think both, as they call it in some SWAC groups, Bama North and Bama South, I believe they're both off next week. So they got to prepare for the Magic City Classic, which I still think is going to be a good game, even though both teams are on a downhill slope, so to speak. But, I mean, like Coach said in the weekly press conference, you can throw the records out the door when that game comes around. So I think that's still going to be an exciting matchup this year.
Oh, yeah. One thing about those kind of games is when, honestly, sometimes I think the best games in those kind of rivalries are when both teams are kind of not playing that well, and there's a lot on the line in terms of not a championship, but in terms of salvaging your season. Because you do not want to lose to those guys and get them a whole year trash talk. So I think both teams are going to go hard, and it should be an exciting game. I know they wish they had more going, but, it is what it is.
All right, moving on to Southern and Pine Bluff. Pine Bluff is exactly who I thought they were. Like we spoke earlier, I was impressed with Southern's run game. I knew their offensive line was solid, backs are solid. Or I'll say running back that game, but um, I would like to see Skelton play more. I saw that one pass he did miss. He got a little pressure and threw the ball at the ground. Tight end was wide open, but he would have had 2 touchdown passes in my opinion because the tight end walked right in. He complete that. But at the same time, I think that they have more in store for him. But the game was so much in control that they didn't want to show because y'all Southern finna go through the gauntlet. So I'm sure that the OC didn't want to show his hand with everything he's going to do with Skelton. So I think I will see more of him coming down the pipeline because I don't know if anybody got a tougher schedule going down the road in Southern because it's going to get crucial.
No. I I think and I'm going to cut you off, but
Nah, you good.
I think somebody at Southern really upset somebody in the scheduling office of the SWAC because they was like, we're gonna put y'all on Front Street. Y'all talk about y'all want to win championships and y'all are the powerhouse as Scotty likes to say of the SWAC. We're gonna make y'all prove it this season with all these games in a row and they no off week except for Grambling and it's gonna be tough. But going back to that game, I thought the offensive line was the star of that game, man. If you look at the highlights of the touchdown run that Dylan had, he was untouched on all three. I've never seen a guy run a 35-yard touchdown and nobody touch him straight up the middle. Nobody touched him at all. And it was exactly right out of halftime, which just really made it even more crazy to me that they could not lay a hand on him coming out of halftime to try to turn the game around. Southern did what they needed to do. I was surprised by the margin of victory. I thought the defense played very well. Special teams, couple miscues they need to clean up, but I thought overall this was Southern's best game that they played. Couple big runs were called back because of holding, so they could have had more yardage. But my question to you is, do you think Pine Bluff has quit?
I don't know if they've quit. I just think they're not very good at the end of the day. And I said this from the get-go, from my time going to watch them play Lane College. I wasn't confident in them then. I honestly think they're just not that very good this year.
Yeah, I think I don't know because I always thought this team would be better. I thought they may have one of those seasons where your record doesn't look good, but you are a good team. You just caught some bad breaks. But I don't know, man. They are in a bad way, and they got some serious things to work out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know how Skylar Perry go from playing decent in the spring to stinking it up weekly. You know what I mean? Like, what happened?
Yeah, like that first interception he threw, nobody throws that ball, man. He was throwing across his body in traffic.
Yeah.
With and he runs well, so I thought he would take off. He decided to stop and throw across his body in the traffic in the middle of the field. He overthrew his receiver and the safety had to, because our safety is only 5'7", he had to jump to catch it, but the ball was coming directly to him. And he just, they just made so many mistakes. I think they juggling quarterbacks and it's a mess right now. I'm just gonna keep it real. I will say I think they worse than Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, I think so too. I honestly think that. And I hate to say that, but it is what it is. I'm going to keep it real on this show. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know who that is, but he said came to the promised land.
Yeah, you see that. It took a few weeks, but we got him, man. And once you put that blue and gold on, it's hard to take it off. So hopefully we can keep him in it. A good game this week. We'll keep him in it. But I did not talk him into doing that, y'all. He had that on first. I had to get up and go get mine because I didn't want to be showing up.
Oh yeah. I had this a couple years ago from the Bayou Classic, going to watch Skelton. I got to go see him every year, so
I want that hat, man, for real. I've been looking for one like that. Man. So yeah. You lucky you stay far away because I might try to sneak in and borrow it, but I might need that for one of them November games.
Hey, you good for it, man? You good for it? All right. move on to a game that shocked me: Texas Southern and Grambling. I mean, of course, I picked TSU. You picked TSU. Grambling defense showed up once again. Battle of the true freshman quarterbacks. I don't think one really outdid the other. They both made mistakes and turned the ball over, but I think Grambling defense was the difference in this ball game.
Yeah, Grambling quietly has a pretty good defense this year. Considering what their offense puts them through week in and week out, I think it's they've held pretty steady, and I thought they played really well against Texas Southern. They forced some turnovers, and they never really allowed them to get comfortable, and that was pretty much what did it. I think they got a pick six in that game, which helped. Offense still not doing much, but they doing just enough, and that was a game I thought Texas Southern had in the. I'm not gonna say in the bag, but I thought they had that one. But they still, I guess, they still a ways away from really being a competitive week in and week out team, but they getting there.
Right.
Oh, it's my boy Los J. He had to pop in. It was an ugly win, man, but I think them G men are take it though.
Oh,
I think they're at the point right now where they can't worry about style points. They just want to take the W's as much as they can. Before we go too far, I made a bet with my cousin. We hadn't discussed the stakes yet, but he went to Grambling years ago. He said, if Grambling win at least 4 games, we're gonna put something on the line for the classic. So Grambling, I need y'all to come on and win a couple more games so I can take his money off or whatever he want to put up.
All right. Alcorn Valley. Of course, we expected Alcorn to win that game, but I'm still concerned about Felix Harper in that offense. Like, he's definitely not having the typical Felix Harper season. I mean, it could be several things going on, but some people still, Alcorn still in position in the West, but I think when it comes down to it, they're gonna have to have more consistent play from that particular position in order to beat out Jackson State and Southern and teams like that.
Yeah, you're talking about a team that's winning ugly. Alcorn is definitely winning ugly. They're running the ball better week in and week out. The defense is they're coming around. They haven't really had very many of those big play offensive games through the passing game, like you said. But whatever they're doing right now is working for them. But like you say, if they want to get through these next few games, because they have Prairie View coming up, Southern coming up, and Jackson State coming up, the passing game is definitely gonna have to get better. And Felix Harper gonna have to be the trigger man that everybody say he is. So I think they can get it done, but it's gonna take some work.
Well, that wrap up last week's game. We can go ahead and make our picks for this upcoming week. Right now, you sitting at 41-10. I'm sitting at 40-11. So 1 game difference. I don't think we're going. Well, yeah, I don't know that we're gonna pick too much different this week. I think these are pretty cut and dry. But we're gonna start off with Pine Bluff and Arkansas. Of course, I got to go Arkansas with that one. Easy.
I just gotta. I mean, not the game itself. I understand, but who scheduled this game at this point in the season, man? This game at this point in the season does you no good. If you're winning, you wreck your momentum, and when you're reeling like you are right now, you only gonna make it worse. This should be like a week 1 game. Get your check and get ready for the rest of the season. Arkansas. Obviously, Arkansas.
I think just to answer that, historically, I can't remember when exactly in the season, but I went to Arkansas versus Alcorn game a few years ago when Noah Johnson was there, and they also played FAMU. So I think historically they do. Arkansas schedules that HBCU if they play one around this time of the season, and I know I've been guilty of saying if you're going to give it to Alcorn, if you're going to give it to FAMU, why not give it to your own in-state school? You know what I mean? So I think that's just kind of how it felt. I agree with your viewpoint on it, but I guess you just got to get in and get that money when you can when they open it up because they probably not scheduling it. Yeah.
And like I said, coming from, like you said, if you're gonna get the money to somebody from out of state, then the in-state should get it. And
Yeah.
I have no problem with that part. I just don't really like when it's scheduled, but I'm not gonna waste too much on that one.
Yeah. It's the first time in history it hasn't happened, so it's gonna be crazy packed up there in Little Rock. But moving on to Bethune Cookman and Jackson State. I mean, I'm going JSU.
Yeah, I'm
Easy.
going. I'm going. Oh, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Nah, I just said it easy. That's an easy pick.
Yeah, Dion not coaching this week. Coach Prime is not coaching this week. Gary Harrell is filling in, and he was the head coach at Howard. So, they probably won't miss a beat. This is a game. I think that they're gonna be able to work out some kinks. Bethune Cookman, they're not gonna be able to compete in this game.
All right, FAMU, Mississippi Valley. FAMU all day in that one.
Yeah, I like FAMU too. I'm gonna say Valley gonna make it interesting for a little while. That's what they do. Especially up there in the Delta. They got a weird way of hanging in games up there. But I think FAMU gonna do what they have to do to continue moving along in the season.
All right. Alcorn, Texas Southern. I'm gonna go Alcorn in this one, just on the strength of being, I guess, the more seasoned team. I think TSU will put up a fight, but I think Alcorn gonna squeak this one out.
Yeah, I think this is a dangerous game for Alcorn with Southern next week. So they can't really look too far ahead because, like I said before, they got Southern and Prairie View and Jackson State coming up. So you can't overlook Texas Southern. Now they've shown that if you don't give your 100% A game against them, they're gonna beat you, and they are gonna compete in this game. I think Coach McKinney has those guys going in the right direction, but I think Alcorn gets the dub. Mainly because even though it's a road game, I feel like Texas doesn't really have a home field advantage. So Alcorn will be able to get it done and move on to the bigger games on their schedule.
All right, game of the week, Southern Prairie View. I'm gonna go with Southern on this one. Uh, I think they're gonna give PV's defense fits, and I just think Southern may be better all around than Prairie View at this point in time.
Yeah. First off, you kind of had to pick Southern, man. I wouldn't I would not have been happy you pick PV with that Southern hat on, but
Oh,
but I think this is gonna be a very very exciting game, man. I think if you for a homecoming game, you're really not gonna be able to ask for a better game. I think it's gonna be really close. Um, Prairie View's a good team. They have some flaws. Southern, despite what a lot of people think, is a good team, and they've had some flaws as well. But I think Southern is rounding the corner. I think they're starting to become who we thought they would be, and they're going to be challenged by Prairie View. Juwan Pass is going to get them a lot of problems. Southern secondary is going to have to make some plays. The defensive line is going to have to get some pressure. But I think Southern's running game could be the difference in this game. I think if they can run the ball, control the clock, score and run the ball. But I think they'll do good in it. But Prairie View's gonna fight, man. It's gonna be a fight. Coach Dooley love to play against Southern. He's gonna have his guys ready. I expect it to be a chippy game too. It's gonna be a lot of talking. So I think it's gonna be a good atmosphere. But like the comment said, Prairie View can't let Southern run the ball for a big yardage. If they do, I think Southern wins. So I'm going Jags for sure. I'm excited, man. It's homecoming. I'm ready to be in there, man. I wish I could go. I wish I could go in the stadium now. I can't wait to get on campus on Saturday. If anybody's going up there that hadn't been to Southern for homecoming or anything, man, y'all need to get up there very, very early. The crowd is gonna be crazy. I think they said the west side already sold out. East side should shortly be sold out. End zone probably be sold out as well. So man, get in there if you can. Don't wait too late. If you're waiting to buy tickets, you need to buy like right now and hurry up and get on campus. Great game. I mean, I hope I can be more. I hope I can be this excited on Thursday because I expect the Jags win, but I think it'll be a very very tough fight.
Let me ask you one question about the Jags. Something I asked, I think, about preseason, but I believe his name is Marquise Mclean. Why isn't he more involved in the passing game, especially in the red zone? I mean, the dude is massive, DK Metcalf looking body. Can he not get open? Can he not catch? I mean, do they not trust him? Why isn't he used more?
It's a couple of things, and they are expanding his use more. They've been running him a lot on sweep receiver sweeps and stuff. He had a 65-yard run for a touchdown against Texas Southern. But
Right.
in the red zone, Southern loves their tight ends. So the receivers don't really get that much work. And we have a couple big body receivers that I would love to see get more work in the red zone. But they throw to him more often in the middle of the field, and he can make some plays. I think he just hadn't really found his niche. The passing game hadn't really been as explosive as it probably could be. So I look for him to get some work Saturday. Also, Travis O'Connor, who was a Prairie View transfer, I think he's gonna get some work. He's a bigger guy as well. So I think they're gonna get him more involved. They've been trying, but you know when you're running the ball like we did last week, nobody really get that much work. We only threw
Right.
17 passes. So I think Skelton gonna get some. I hope they got some more packages lined up for him to play this weekend. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think I'm with this person, and I'm gonna let you get to your other thing. But honestly, I feel like in some cases, I feel like Skelton gives y'all a better chance to win. Honestly, certain situations, I think he poses a bigger threat. Not to say Bubba can't move, but I think he poses a bigger threat sometimes. He just he has that it factor that some people just don't have. Now I understand his mistakes, so I understand why he's not in there. But at the end of the day, he has that it factor, and he's a winner, and he poses a huge threat to defenses.
Oh yeah, and like I think they both bring something different to the table. When Skelton's out there, as good as Southern's running the ball with Bubba out there, they run it even better because you have to account for him. You don't have to account for Bubba. We don't run very many zone reads when Bubba out there because he can run, but he's not a runner. If that
Yeah,
makes any sense. But if Skelton's out there, you have to know where he's at all times. You have to know where he's at when a pass play breaks down. Um, that's a different dimension that the offense is kind of missing. But I'm hoping they, like I said, they can find a package and make it work because they both can do well, but Skelton's a game changer when he's on. I don't I feel like you have to live with his mistakes. So if you're gonna play him, you have to live with what he does and doesn't do. But I think they're in good shape at quarterback right now.
yeah, that's why I miss Odoms, man. Odoms, he lived and died with him, and he set him down when he needed to get his attention. He knew exactly how to get through to him. No, he ain't gonna be perfect, but and I'm not being biased, but it's just at the end of the day, I feel like I'm more afraid of Southern offense when he's behind the center. At the end of the day, I'm more afraid. To me, it's more fun to watch as a fan. It looks bland right now. It's working for winning. I get that, but it's just bland for some odd reason. It just don't look like the same Southern offense.
Yes, it's kind of like I said, they kind of fine tuning more to what Bubba does.
Yeah,
So like I said, it's not as many explosive runs and a lot of really trying to throw the ball more. So we'll see. I
yeah.
like I say, I think Skelton gonna get his chance in these upcoming games. So we'll see how he does.
All right. Now what you got for me?
All right. Well, I want to talk about coaches on the hot seat. This, we in October. There's some names swirling. I want to know who you think is on the hot seat. Do you think anybody really gonna get fired right now? Let's just talk a little bit about coaches.
All right. I mean, we can start in Pine Bluff. I don't think Gamble is in. I don't think he's gonna get fired. Uh, I honestly don't even think he's on the hot seat. Although he's made some hot seat decisions, but I don't think they going. I don't think they looking for anybody right now. The guy at Sims at BCU, I think he could be, but when we talking about finances over there, I don't know what his contracts look like, and if they're gonna be able to hire somebody and even pay him, worth even coming. So he may be better to keep, but I definitely think he is on the hot seat. It's hard to tell at Alabama State, uh, but I think he might be done at the end of the season too. Oh, Doc, and other than that, I don't really think too many coaches. Some people are saying Fives, but I don't think Fives on the hot seat. I think he's safe as well. That's about all I got on that.
So, what about Rollins? Let's just keep it real. You think he on the hot seat? Because I know some
I
people
think
who,
he got a. I think his fate is going to be determined in the next 4 games.
yeah,
I
this
think
this
he
this
in
is
the
a do
middle
or
of the
die,
road right
man.
now. Yeah,
I think Southern in a series of 1 game playoffs for the rest of the season.
yeah.
And people, there's a lot of rumbling and bumbling under the scenes, under the covers, and those people always come out more when Southern lose. So we'll see. I don't know what Southern gonna do right now. I've been talking to a couple of people about that, but I don't know what they're gonna do yet. But I do think Hill Ely is on the hot seat. I think if he don't win the Magic City Classic, they're gonna. I don't think he's gonna get fired right away, but I think he'd be gone by the end of the season. They just not happy with him. They're not. They don't really have an identity on offense. They don't. They're wasting a very good defense. So I think. I think that they're gonna get rid of him at the end of the season. I gotta share this comment. Because they won, he wants to keep him there. But don't. Hey, he knows not to lose to Texas Southern again. So I don't think you want to see him play y'all next year. Um, he won't want to lose to Texas Southern twice. Southern has a way of not appreciating coaches losing the teams that they shouldn't. If y'all remember Stump Mitchell getting fired after losing the Valley on Thursday night TV. So y'all might have helped him out the door, but y'all might have saved him too because Southern woke up against Pine Bluff. But um, other than that, I would say they need some coaching changes at Alabama and them, not Manor, but
yeah.
defensively they need some changes on that. Um, we got a comment came up I want to share before we get out, and we can talk about that because it does fit with what's going on right now. A lot of people saying, "Fam, you might be up for a playoff berth if they continue to win." So um, just want to what you think about the SWAC and me at competing in the playoffs?
Honestly, man, and I may be one of those people that you know stop us from being progressive, but I'm really not a huge fan of it. Um, yeah, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. At the end of the day, I don't feel like right now, especially these schools aren't going to make a deep run in the playoffs. Um, I'm a fan of maybe creating a black college playoff, but outside of that, I don't really think it's like some people want to get rid of the Celebration Bowl, and I read some stuff on it, but I'm with one of the guys that was talking about with the Celebration Bowl, those kids get a week of you know bowl treatment. They get a full week of everything. You go take a playoff game, you go up to Montana State and get your tail whooped and come on back home, and that's it. So for a lot of kids who don't get a chance to go to Atlanta and go and do all this other stuff, I feel like the Celebration Bowl is a better choice for them to get treated like kings and this and that for an entire week. that's just me. You know what I'm saying? I know other people have different opinions, but I don't see it being really worth it at the end of the day.
Well, I'm a I'm I'm a I'm a fence rider. That I know that's not down to a lot of people like,
Yeah.
but I um I like how it was back in the day when they had the Heritage Bowl. No SWAC championship game. You know, the SWAC champ could go to playoffs, run up, go to Heritage Bowl. Or if Southern won the SWAC, they go to Heritage Bowl. Second place team go to playoffs. Hewlett Jackson. I think that gives you the best of both worlds. Um, I I I I I feel like if you're gonna do it, you need to get rid of the championship game so somebody can go if they don't win their division. You know, if they finish second in the league, they can go. But I'm not I'm not I'm not like really toe up about either side of it. Everybody's not gonna be able to make it, but I think if they do, then you need to win if you're gonna go. I think that's the only way you're gonna get anything out of this is you have to be successful. Um, no, the one thing I will say is nobody knows anything about like Dayton, San Diego, those kind of teams,
Yeah.
Pioneer League teams that make the playoffs and get beat in the first round. Some of the Southern Conference teams that make it get beat in the first round. You have to, you have to, you have to win. I mean, there's no way around it. Just to go, just to say you go, is not gonna do it. So if you wanna go, then you need to make deep runs. And we right now probably only have one team that can make any kind of run. So I just I kind of take it as it go day by day. I change my opinion.
Yeah. I'm one of those people, man, that's stuck, if you will. Like, I'm one of those people. I feel like the exposure you bring the exposure when you bring the players to your conference. The players that go to those FCS schools or FBS schools, you bring them to your conference, and y'all play good football. The exposure gonna come. If Zion Williamson go to Southern, he the number one player in NCAA. You know, coming out of high school, some eyes and stuff gonna be there. So it starts with the players coming. The cameras gonna come, but we can. I feel like we can make something of our own. I'm not one that just want to go try to force our way into joining whatever system they got going on. That's just me. That's if we going into a whole nother subject, but that's just how I feel about it. I feel like between the MEAC and SWAC, we can make playoffs and make our own and make it a big deal. You know what I mean? That's just me.
Yeah, like I said, you need, the exposure is gonna happen, man. And like we already, is getting there now. Dion is raising the stature of the SWAC, and it's gonna only grow if all the teams continue to do what they do. So you get everything that you want to get right now. And let me tell y'all, man, I don't know how many of y'all are really around people from other leagues, other FCS leagues. But I was a member of a national board. It used to be called Any Given Saturday. I used to be a member of that. I'm a member of the FCS Reddit. I talk to these people, man, and they a lot of them love their championship, but a lot of them know they're never going to beat the North Dakota States and teams like that. And they low key, really want what Southern and the rest of the SWAC has. They don't get that kind of exposure, man. Don't think that that it's so great out there for them because they play in the playoffs. They complain all the time about playing in empty stadiums on Thanksgiving weekend. The games are never on TV. They it's not all that it's cracked up to be. But if the system changed a little bit, then it could be better. But just don't buy into anything unless you talk to those kind of people because they they not all that happy about everything. Why do you think so many of them teams move up to FBS when they don't even have a shot at making a bowl game most years? So it's economics.
Yeah, who knows who on here can name the teams that's in the first round of FCS playoffs? We mainly know the North Dakota states and maybe Montana State, them type of schools. Nobody even really know anybody else. It's the same few teams, same few teams in the playoffs every
All the
year.
time. And and
So
and like the comment here, you can play those games in the regular season.
yeah,
That's why you have non-conference games. You schedule non-conference games well. You don't play those Power Five games. You play like a G5 FBS team if you need to get a money game, and then you play those regional teams in your area in the FCS, and that gives you everything that you need. Southern was a top 3 team in Division 1 AA in 1999, and they only played at that point. They only had played Northwestern State and Hampton in the non-conference. You can get ranked and move up playing very few games out of conference that are formidable. You just have to win. So it's all about winning. It's all about money, and the exposure is gonna come. So I think the SWAC is moving in a good direction, and I don't want to change anything right now.
Yeah, we can't get so antsy. You know what I mean? And next thing you know, you have teams trying to leave the SWAC and go join this and join that. Make them come to you. Make those players and coaches come to you. They make them want to be a part of what you've created. Stop always running to them.
Yeah, some of them teams in them dying leagues, man, they will kill for some of these opportunities to play it won't happen, but they would kill for opportunity to play again in front of 55,000 people in Jackson. They would love to play in a packed stadium in Baton Rouge or in Montgomery or wherever. Yeah. That they want that. Don't think they don't. But that's a conversation that's gonna be had more and more times, and it's never gonna end because it just is what it is. But I like to talk about it from time to time, and I like to thank the comment for getting that started. So we'll see what happens in the future. That's pretty much all I can say.
All right, before you get out of here, I'm gonna put you on the spot. I'm gonna give you one last question, one mid-season question. Who represents us in the Celebration Bowl at this point in the season? Who you got going?
Jackson State. Right now, I don't think they playing the best football out of everybody. Their defense is just the defensive front seven is just smothering. So I really just think that right now it's gonna take a lot for somebody to beat them. They're gonna have to. They're only allowing like 12 points a game. So they kind of like that Baltimore Ravens defense back in the day, where all they needed to score was 17 points to win. So I think until somebody beats them right now, I'm going with JSU.
I gotta ride with you on that one. Hopefully, I don't want to sound biased, but hopefully we have something else to talk about by the end of the season. Hopefully we're having a different conversation and some crazy stuff that happened. But right now I gotta say JSU.
Yeah, it's all gonna hinge on what Southern do. Yeah. Let me say this, then I'm gonna get out of here. Everybody like to say Southern thinks they run the SWAC and Southern thinks they all that. Well, we do. We control the entire SWAC race these next 4 weeks. Y'all have to come to Southern. Whether we win or lose, we control what everybody has. So the Jags are in control. Now, we may not win. I don't even think we're going to win off. I think we might win 2 out of 4. But we control everything. So Baton Rouge is where it's at. If you want to see all the top teams in the SWAC these next 4 weeks, come on down.
All right, man. So I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and close out. Saturday, anybody in Baton Rouge, man, I'm at Lot E. I don't got no food, so don't come looking for no food. But if you want to say, hey, I'm at Lot E. That's by the gym on the south side of the stadium, and I sit in the north end zone. So if you see me, holler at me. I can point you to where the food at, but I don't have any myself. So just come and holler, and we could chop it up.
All right, Doc.
So that's it for us, y'all, man. I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll be back next week with another live edition of SWAC Smoke.
Yeah, appreciate everybody for commenting and chatting. We look forward to that.
Oh, yeah, y'all keeping it going. We appreciate that. Thank you for the love.